To the New York Jets we go. There's an active offseason after a season ago where the Jets, for their second consecutive 7-10 year, was the exact same blueprint as it was in 2022. The defense was top 5 to top 10 quality, yet again, and the offense had abysmal quarterback play, to put it politely. I would even argue the quarterback play was more abysmal this past season than it was 2 years ago. The Jets get Aaron Rodgers back after playing 4 snaps a year ago with the ruptured Achilles. And with the active offseason it was, the Jets completely remake their offensive line. They signed Tyron Smith. They signed John Simpson. They trade for Morgan Moses. They trade for Hassan Reddick, who is still holding out right now. This is a roster, Alex White, that I think if you have the quarterback staying upright, this is as good as any roster in the AFC going into the year.
And the most important part, right, is they do bring in Tyrod Taylor as the backup. So
it is an important part, as we learned last year.
So that is a good backup to have behind Aaron Rodgers. Very high hopes for this team. Again, just like last year, you mentioned it. They really good defense. I would definitely put them in the top 5. It's just offensively, we have to see a lot of things turn around. Of course, we know, 9% of their offensive drives resulted in touchdowns, 29th in points per game, 31st in yards per game. And a lot of that had to do with the quarterback and the offensive line protecting the quarterback. So handling those 2 spots, assuming Aaron Rodgers comes back and is capable and close to his prime, better than his 2022, but, not expecting his prime. But yeah, so there is a lot of hopes. I do have this team very high in my power ratings based off of this roster.
The offensive line last year was abysmal on top of the quarterback play being bad. The big concern with this team, which, Alex, I know you've brought this up off the air, of faraway places with first coach to get fired. One faraway place, and if this is not totally Jets, I don't know what it is. One faraway book has Robert Saleh as the favorite to be the first coach fired. They also have Robert Saleh as the favorite to win coach of the year. So figure that one out. So this is a volatile franchise, as we know. They have the longest drought in North American professional sports of making the postseason of the 4 major sports. They haven't been there since 2010. The Kings, after making the postseason 2 years ago in the NBA, have now vanquished their infamous rank on that. I will say this, Alex, the biggest concern more than anything, and this is a team, this is the most talented Jet team this millennium on paper going into the season. Breece Hall is, to me, the second best running back in the NFL going into the year. Garrett Wilson has had 1,000 receiving yards in each of his first 2 seasons with abysmal quarterbacks throwing to him. The defense, as we said, great pass rush, great defensive line with Quinnen Williams, and even if Reddick's not there, Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson up front, 2 good linebackers in Quincy Williams and C.J. Mosley, and the best cornerback in football in Sauce Gardner back there as well. Loaded defense. This coaching staff is still terrible for the most part. Not a fan of Robert Saleh's game management. I've been said this in plenty of platforms before, and as we've learned, Nathaniel Hackett's not an NFL quality coach. Now, the one good – see, McCormick got me there. The one thing that is different, though, Alex, is that Aaron Rodgers is back.
Correct.
And Aaron Rodgers will act as a coach on the field to get out of bad things or bad play calls by Nathaniel Hackett. So it's just a matter of what you said is very important. What version of Aaron Rodgers are we getting? You would hope something in between. He's not going to be the back-to-back MVP of 2020 and 2021 anymore, 41 coming off an Achilles tear. But if he's something in between 2021 Rodgers and 2022 Rodgers, the Jets are winning double-digit games, and I think they're winning this division going away when it's all said and done.
They definitely have a chance here. And this is a very tough division. I think those 3 are right all in there, and the odds even say it. So that makes it tough. They have tough division games, but looking at the rest of their schedule, I do think it is doable for this team. And you mentioned it, Nathaniel Hackett, but Aaron Rodgers wanted him there as the OC, so we'll see how this actually plays out for them. I do have the skills group, skills players, at least second in this division. It's pretty close between them and the Miami Dolphins. So as you mentioned, you brought up Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson, but I think they have all the people there surrounding Aaron Rodgers as well.
You look at the win total, it's 10, which feels right. Very tough game week 1 against San Francisco. The schedule makers, by the strength of the schedule, just the way that the Jets drew, it's actually the easiest schedule by a wide margin in the AFC East, just kind of the luck of the draw, more so than anything. They were not given any favors on the way that their schedule breaks down in the way of their games being scheduled out. Monday night, week 1, short week 2 because of that. Then another short week 3 against New England on a Thursday night. Week 5, they go to London.
Yeah.
Then they play Buffalo, which is arguably their most important game in the first half of the season. Then a second Thursday night game in 9 weeks on Thanksgiving against Houston. Very, very difficult just in the way of playing a lot of games in a condensed period of time early in the year. Very difficult in that regard. But with that said, I really do believe if Aaron Rodgers is able to stay upright, Alex White, this is an 11-12 win team. I don't know if their defense is good enough to win 3 games in the playoffs, especially road games. But when it's all said and done, this coaching staff is what I believe holds them back from being able to make a Super Bowl. I think this is a clear playoff team with a healthy Aaron Rodgers. This is a team that should win 11-12 games. I have them winning the division. So you can't say I don't have any more non-favorites winning the division because Buffalo, of course, favorite to win this division. But I do have the Jets winning this division. Again, compact with them and Buffalo. I think those two teams are going to be very, very tight. It could very easily come down to Week 17 in Western New York.
So let's talk about this. So, because power rating, I do have them the best right now in this division. But that does make me nervous, just like some other teams we are kind of comparing to where Deshaun Watson, for instance, in that tough division where we know his is a little bit more mental. We have not seen the Deshaun Watson in years. So that definitely brought them back down in that division. But you are willing to just put them at the top of this division with the hopes that we get Aaron Rodgers fully back healthy from the Achilles injury?
There are a few other factors that go into this, of course. Again, this schedule, even though not given a lot of favors with those primetime games the first half, the schedule is very manageable until those last 3 weeks of the season where, you know what? You're probably going to have to beat the Dolphins and the Bills anyway if you're going to want to win the division to begin with. If you lose those games, you know what? You're probably not winning the division. So that's part of the handicap. And again, with Cleveland, this Jet defense held up home road last year. Held up. Cleveland did not, as we talked about, did not hold up on the road. There are a lot different. I also don't think the Browns roster is as good as some other people think. But I don't think Deshaun Watson struggles and Aaron Rodgers, quote unquote, unknown factor. I don't know if they're comparable. I think they're totally different situations where Rodgers is coming off a significant injury. It's quite possible Aaron Rodgers isn't the same again. 100%. Quite possible. And if that's the case, the Jets are probably going to be 9-8 win team. If Aaron Rodgers is not the same, we don't think we don't think 9's going to be enough to get in the postseason with how we've talked about the AFC. Deshaun Watson, the good version of Deshaun Watson might be gone completely for other reasons, as you mentioned. So I don't think I think the two situations are not very comparable. I also think that Cincinnati and Baltimore are significantly better than Buffalo and Miami going into this year. Both of those teams are better than Miami and Buffalo. That's the other reason I don't like Cleveland as much. I actually think Pittsburgh might be a little more comparable to this Jets team than Cleveland, in all honesty.
Yeah, that's fair.
Russell Wilson, a little unknown factor in the way of what he is at this point, and Justin Fields, again, unknown as well. So that would be the way that I would look at it more than anything, Alex.
It is interesting looking at the schedule, and we talked about the Patriots yesterday, and they are going to be an underdog in most of those games, and we talked about those division games that they may be able to win a few, but then as I'm going through this, looking at it from the Jets' point of view, like those are games they have to have, both of those against the Patriots. So it's tough. I mean, that's why we play the games. It's why we have the season to see who is the ultimate winner of each division and the ultimate winner holding the Super Bowl trophy. But I do have high hopes for this team as well. I don't necessarily have them winning the division just yet, but definitely a 10-win team here.
10 wins. Again, 10 wins probably is the cusp of getting in the postseason. That would be right on that number. I think Chris and company have the right number at 10. I know a lot of people aggressively looking to juice unders with 9.5, not buying Aaron Rodgers' health. With that said, this whole coaching staff's gone if they miss the playoffs. This whole coaching staff's gone if they get off to a bad start. Aaron Rodgers is probably gone as well.
You think midseason?
It would really have to fall apart for midseason.
Yeah.
Like they would have to start late bye in week 12. I don't see Woody firing these guys before the bye, even though he could fire Hackett if their offense starts off poorly, or demote him, which could very easily be in play. But
I don't
Roberts.
think
I don't know. I don't think they're going to. I really don't think they're going to bottom out. I think they might through week 11. They could be 5-6. Like if things go poorly, they could be like, hey, they got to get hot in order to make the playoffs. Like that's in play. But I don't think a bottom out, which I think that would be what it would take to fire Robert Saleh midseason, where I don't think he should be the first coach to be fired favorite. I really don't think that because I don't think the bottom out's coming, Alex.
I don't either. I mean, look at what this defense was able to do last year. They were able to be competitive with the quarterback play that they had. Just some numbers for you. I'll throw it out there. Number 1 in passing yards per play allowed, 7th in red zone percentage, and 10th in points allowed at 22.9. So with that being said alone, I mean, they have some of the best linebackers, the duo Pro Bowlers in the league. So I think I don't think they'll bottom out either. And I don't like that bet at all. I can't believe he is one of the favorites in an offshore book.
I'm not overly surprised that he's one of the favorites, but I don't think he should be. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I know that came out a little weirdly.
I don't think he should be either.
Actually, thinking about that real quick, because I know you brought this up to me the other day of we should bring this up. Next week we'll look at a bunch of award stuff, and that's not an award, obviously. In all honesty, the guy that makes the most sense actually would be a guy who's coaching tonight to me. I think Matt Eberflus could be the first guy to go if the Bears start slow, and Shane Waldron shows that hey, it's the offense is showing some progress, even if the points aren't always there. I still think Shane Waldron's going to be the head coach of the Bears in 2024 or 2025, I should say. 2025, he's going to be their head coach. So that would be the guy to look at, Eberflus, on that market.
So pretty good odds here, plus 210 for them to win the division. Is that your best bet, or were you looking at any awards or
for the Jets? Plus 210's good. So Breece Hall's 12-1 to win Offensive Player of the Year. I just don't. I don't think that's a good enough price. Rodgers at 20-1 to win MVP. Don't think that's good enough price either. Need a little more than that. None of the Jets are winning Defensive Player of the Year because as good as these guys are on a Jet defense, Quinnen Williams to me is the best defensive tackle in the NFL. Jermaine Johnson took a huge step forward last year on the outside. You mentioned the two great linebackers. Middle linebackers don't win the Defensive Player of the Year anymore. Quincy Williams, C.J. Mosley. And it's so hard for a secondary guy to win Defensive Player of the Year in this day and age. I don't see Sauce Gardner doing it. I don't think there's anyone on that defense. Great unit. I don't think there's any individuals that can win Defensive Player of the Year. So I guess that leads me on on awards. If I like anything, I like Saleh to be Coach of the Year, but I don't want to bet that short of a number. No way.
What is his
14 right now?
14 right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the best number I saw. It's ranging from 10 to 14 on Robert Saleh to win Coach of the Year. Too short. Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Parles.
And I'm Alex White. Thank you for watching this clip of Sports by the Book. Please like the video, comment, and subscribe.
We live stream the show right here every day on this channel. Also, you can catch the podcast version on your favorite podcast platform.
All the links are in the description below. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.